All right, we'll be back with our CBB, Community Bulletin Board file, right after Adele, and it's
Easy being green.
Here's Adele.
Welcome, thank you to another episode of It's Easy Being Green, enjoying a green brew, especially with our friend here, Joe, our mascot. We're enjoying a green brew from food waste or wastewater. On a wave of sustainable brewing trends, 2 interesting brews with environmental credentials surfaced from across the Atlantic recently. The world's first zero-waste beer was just released, and the reviews rave. It tastes incredible. Northern Monk Brew Company in Leeds, England, teamed up with the Real Junk Food Project to use food waste to make their sustainable beer named Wasted. Wasted is a pear farmhouse ale made from overripe pears, stale croissants, and brioche that would otherwise have been discarded. After the brewing process, all the spent grains and hops are donated to local farms for feed or fertilizer. The champagne yeast is reused in other brews. And for packaging, the beer goes into bottles made from 100% recycled glass. On the same side of the pond, food activist Tristram Stewart wondered what happened to all those thousands of unloved bread heels that typically gets tossed in the trash. This contemplation led him to create Toast Ale, the first British beer to be made with surplus bread ends obtained from bakeries. If they weren't used this way, the bread would just end up in the landfill. Their unique recipe for Toast Ale replaced about 40% of the malt barley with the leftover bread, toasted to add a caramely note. Each bottle contains roughly a slice of leftover bread. Tristram estimates the beer will help to offset some of the estimated 24 million slices of bread being thrown away each year in the UK. Back in the US of A, California brewery Half Moon Bay created a drought-friendly craft beer from recycled gray water. That's right, the wastewater that comes from our sinks, showers, dishwashers, and washing machines, but not from the toilets. Half Moon Bay uses the same technology found on the International Space Station that transforms urine and sweat into drinkable water. The greatest challenge is getting people over the psychological resistance to reusing gray water. The brewery has been sampled twice, and the brew is offering select tastings of its gray water IPA. In a blind taste test, people could not tell the difference. So remember, it's easy being green, enjoying a green brew from food waste or wastewater.
Unbelievable.
Kind of weird, right?
I could see maybe the rotten pears and the brioche. What is brioche? A bread?
It's a fancy croissant type bread.
Croissant and the other stuff, wasted beer, but I don't know about wastewater beer.
And it's a little far reach, but
That's
hey.
a stretch for me. You know.
It does sound a little weird.
Holy cow. Well, there's some information for you. Thanks, Adele.
Soon to be on our shelves.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see about that.